In this video, I'm going to be ranking all of the Lifesteal Season 7 members. Yeah, that's right, I'm going to be ranking all 38 members in this one video. I have all of the ratings timestamped, so if you want to see a rating for a specific player, you can just check. So how am I going to be ranking these members? Well, I'm going to be doing it based off their overall position on the server. So we're going to take stuff like who's on their team, heart count, and PvP skill into consideration. So let's say a really good player is on like 4 hearts and has no team. They're likely going to be rated lower than a bad player that has a lot of hearts and a really good team, if that makes sense. Anyways, with that being said, let's get straight into it. Alright, starting off with Leowook. He's on the daycare team, which is a pretty strong team on the server, probably one of the strongest. He's decent at PvP, and he's allied with Chief and Will. Chief may not be as much of a valuable ally, but having YungWill as an ally is definitely important. I'll get more into that later on. Anyways, he's got 12 hearts, which for Lifesteal Season 7 isn't actually that bad. I have no idea why, but in Lifesteal Season 7, everyone's just sort of on that, 12 to 8 sort of heart range. No one's really got a lot of hearts yet. He's got a decent team. He's good at PvP, he's got some allies. I'd say that's a solid A tier. He's got ManePear and Mapicc on his team, he's pretty set. Next up, we've got 4C. Now, he probably won't get his Lifesteal POV for a while because he's probably going to be putting more time into editing the new Naked and Afraid series. But what we do know is that he's got 10 hearts. He's teamed with Jaren, who is one of the least active Lifesteal members. But he's got decent redstone skills, and maybe if he branches out his allies and his team a little bit more, he could definitely go higher. But I'm going to say C tier for now. Next up, we've got Ashwagg. So he's on 1 heart currently, and I think that's because he gave his 9 other hearts to his teammates. He's also on the daycare, which is ManePear and Mapicc's team. So not a bad team, but is he actually going to play this season? I didn't see him a whole lot last season, and the fact that he's that willing to go to 1 heart says he's not really that dedicated. I can honestly understand if you put him in D tier, but he has the team. Like, I'm sure Leo, ManePear, and Mapicc would happily give him some hearts. His ping is pretty rough, but I think C tier is fair. Next up, we have the server's best PvPer, BaconWaffles. He's teamed with TownCat and SpokeIsHere, which I guess isn't a horrible team. They definitely have chemistry, but maybe on the PvP front, not so good. But to be fair, he does sort of have connections with YungWill after the ClownPierce 3v1, and he's still on a very healthy 10 heart count. Maybe if his team was stronger on the PvP front, he could go up to B tier, but I think C tier is a very good place to put him at the moment. Alright, next up we've got ChiefXD. Now, he actually got the first kill on the server, which was on Jepexx, which if you want to see more on, you could check this video here. I've got all of Jepexx's deaths in that video, and I sort of analyze them. He's not the craziest at PvP, like people tell me he's really good. From what I've seen, I just don't see that. But maybe the fight I saw was just a bad fight for him. Everyone has those. He's allied with the Steve duo. He's allied with Leowook. 11 hearts, not bad. I'd say B tier. Next up, we've got ClownPierce. Now, not surprisingly, Clown has a high amount of hearts, which is 16. Which is kind of crazy because in Lifesteal Season 6, 16 was sort of like the average heart count. Like, I know this season's new, but honestly, this season, not a lot of hearts seem to be going round. But once we get visitors that, for some reason, still drop hearts, I think, everyone's heart count will go up a lot. He's got a really OP team. The only issue is he's sort of against the daycare. And also, the fact that he's the deadliest player sort of put a bounty on his head, so we've seen people like YungWill take advantage of that and hunt him, continuously. Which I've also made a dedicated video for if you'd like to check that out. I'd say A tier. Also, just keep in mind the order of the tier list don't count. In my Season 6 tier list, I saw people getting confused. So the order doesn't matter, but if it did, I'd probably put ClownPierce above Leowook because he's quite high up in my opinion. So Derapchu is currently on 8 hearts and he isn't that great at PvP. He's got some decent allies, but his team isn't exactly the strongest. But he at least has a team, so I think I'll put him in C tier. He's got connections to people like PrinceZam, and PrinceZam, he just knows everyone on the server, it seems like. So yeah, C tier, I'd say he's probably the lowest we've had so far. Like, if you were to say D tier, I would completely understand. Alright, next up is ECorridor. So he has said he wants to get in more fights this season, unlike Season 6. Alright, so he does have a healthy heart count with that being 10. He doesn't have a team, unfortunately, and we haven't seen him log on a lot. However, he does have a strong alliance with YungWill and Peentar. And of course Poafa, but that's Poafa. Honestly, I'd say B tier. I feel like he has a very strong alliance with YungWill and Peentar, 2 players which he knows quite well. Either way, those are 2 of the best PvPers. He's decent at PvP, which I actually didn't realize. Maybe if we had more information on ECorridor and Lifesteal Season 7, I could have a more confident rating, but I'm going to stick with B for now. Alright, next up we've got FlameFrags. Last time I did a tier list, I got called a FlameFrags meat rider because I put him in S tier on every tier, which honestly, hear me out. The tiers I was doing was skins tier list. Obviously, he's got an S tier skin. I also put S tier for content, which low-key I'd probably move down maybe to an A tier nowadays. I just don't think his unstable SMP uploads are the greatest. And obviously, for PvP, I'm going to put him in S tier as well. But for this one, he hasn't actually logged on Lifesteal yet, which is surprising. He's just been busy with Unstable, which is fair enough, get your bag, but I feel like Lifesteal is sort of something you shouldn't neglect. Like, Lifesteal was a huge stepping stone for FlameFrags joining Unstable SMP, so sort of neglecting it seems a bit off. But of course, it's his decision, he'll probably join eventually, but I feel like there's already a lot of teams that have sort of been settled, so yeah. Also, I don't know why I'm yapping, to be honest, like, he hasn't logged on. So I'm actually going to put FlameFrags in the NA tier list, which stands for not available. He literally hasn't logged on. He hasn't said anything about alliances or teams or plans. So at the end of the tier list, I'll create the NA tier, but for now, we'll just move him down here. Now, HannahxxRose. Now, she does have 11 hearts, but things are looking a bit shaky for her. She's associated with the team that removed all the end portals, and in case you didn't know, like, that team is the #1 target on the server. Like, loads of people have just been saying it's on site if they see them, which isn't good. Like, there were rumors about her betraying people and all this. I don't think she's very good at PvP, but she's got a healthy amount of hearts. I know I've done a lot of C tiers, but I think Hannah going in C tier is pretty understandable. Next up, we've got Jepexx. Now, I've literally made a whole video about this. Jepexx is going in D tier. Now, he's on a low heart count like Ashwagg, but Ashwagg got to that heart count on purpose. Jepexx straight up just died loads of times. He hasn't got any alliances. He's only teamed with Spepticle and Reddoons, which isn't exactly a bad team, but he's just not great at PvP at all. His 2v2T series has also been doing better, so I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a lot of him from Lifesteal. So I think Jepexx being our first D tier is pretty understandable. Now, JumperWho is decent at PvP. She's in a team called Bing, and she's the only member, but she's got alliances. How many times am I going to say this? She's got alliances with YungWill, Peentar, and PrinceZam. Does every player have alliances with those players, bro? Am I tripping? But she's on 10 hearts. She hasn't died. She hasn't gotten any kills. She's on her own team, though, which really is going to weigh her down a lot. I'm going to go C tier. That might shock you. I think her position in Lifesteal is a very high C tier. She's probably the highest we have so far, if not one of. Next up, we've got ManePear. Now, he's got 13 hearts and he's on the daycare team. Now, the big thing with ManePear is that he actually got quick dropped on the first day of Lifesteal by ClownPierce, which contrasts Season 6 where he didn't die a lot, because that was sort of his whole thing. But I'm honestly going to put him in S tier. Now, Clown has a target on his head. He's killed a lot of people. He's ClownPierce, so obviously people are going to go after him. But ManePear, he died early on, so no one can really say, apart from ClownPierce, that they killed ManePear for the first time. And ManePear's got a solid team. There's not really a lot of motive to go for ManePear. Like, out of anyone on his team, he seems to be remaining relatively neutral. Like, it seems to be Mapicc getting more involved, causing more fights and all of that. So yeah, our first S tier going to ManePear, pretty understandable, I would say. Speaking of Mapicc, we've got him next. He's probably one of the best PvPers, he's got one of the best teams, but unfortunately, Lifesteal Season 7 has not treated him too kindly. He's got a lot of enemies, he did not start off very well at all, but he hasn't really gained anything from having enemies. Like, it's not like he killed someone, got a heart, and is now enemies with them. So I'm going to put him in B tier. But like I said earlier, he's good at PvP, he's got a decent team, so that stops him from going lower, but yeah, B tier. Maybe if he locks in, it could be an A tier, you know, it is still quite early to tell. Now, next up, we have MinuteTech. He's on the Apocalypse team, which is, of course, one of the strongest teams on the server. I would say he's on a similar tier to Mapicc in PvP. But to be fair, a lot of people have been telling me, like, they think he's one of the best PvPers on Lifesteal, like in the top 5, which I wouldn't say top 5, but he's, you know, top 8, maybe, give or take. Like, the Apocalypse team has got a large variety. We've got ClownPierce, which is obviously brute force. We've got MinuteTech, which is obviously another brute force, but he does have some, you know, technical uses with redstone. And of course, we've got SB and Rekrap, which are all about, you know, traps, farms. Apart from his team, he doesn't have a lot of allies, so I'm just going to put him in B tier. However, I do think an A tier is pretty understandable. Now we've got MidMystic. She's allied with 4C, and she's on the #1 op team. Now, I think I'm going to put her in C tier. She's not the greatest at PvP. Her team is #1 priority on the op list, but that team, of course, like the millionth time this video's got connections with Will and PrinceZam, so that's probably going to save her from going D tier. But she's not exactly high up in the C tier. Next up is MrCube. Now, he has a team, but honestly, I don't think we've seen enough to rate him. So yeah, I think I'm going to put him in the tier with FlameFrags, where I just can't rate him. And the only things he really has done when he's logged on is join a team, which that team doesn't really take themselves seriously, so yeah. Next up, we've got Pangi. His team isn't amazing, his alliances aren't incredible, but, you know, he's on a healthy heart count. I think I'm going to put him in C tier. Like, if he was on a lower heart count, I think a D tier could be pretty understandable. Next up, we've got Peentar. Now, he's teamed with one of the best members this season, YungWill. Granted, he hasn't gotten too involved, although at the time of recording a couple of hours ago, he did get in a big fight with the daycare. And yeah, I'd say overall, they probably won that fight. So I'm going to put him in B tier. He's one of the best PvPers, but his heart count isn't too high. Next up is PlanetLord. and he hasn't logged on yet. So yeah, nothing else to be said really. You know, he's going with FlameFrags and MrCube. Now, Poafa, to be honest, the only thing really saving him from D tier is the fact that he has a high heart count. I mean, he killed Jepexx, and Jepexx was AFK, but then he lost that heart to PrinceZam. He's allied with ECorridor, which I guess is something, but yeah, he's probably one of the lowest we've got yet. And the person I've mentioned at least 800 times this video already, we've got PrinceZam. Now, PrinceZam doesn't have a team, but he's got so many, like, alliances. Like, he's been getting really involved. I've seen him in so many fights. I've seen him, you know, allied with so many people. But, of course, it is PrinceZam, and I don't know why. This guy gets tortured, it feels like, every season. Like, in Season 6, this guy, bro, like, he went through all stages of grief, it felt like. But to be fair, I think he's got one of the most potentials we've seen so far. I'm going to go B tier for PrinceZam. If he had a higher heart count, I'd probably go A tier. He's literally friends with everyone, which we've discussed pretty much already. Reddoons is decent at PvP, so I'm going to whack him in C tier. He hasn't got a lot of alliances. I would say he's remained pretty neutral in the grand scheme of things. And of course, his team isn't the strongest. Next up, we've got Rekrap. Now, he would be on 10 hearts, but he unfortunately died to lag once. I mean, that's not as bad as Jepexx, who died to lag, you know, way more than that. And unlike his team, which is already pretty strong, ClownPierce and MinuteTech have a lot of, you know, enemies. But Rekrap, he's just a chill guy. Like, he's a very smart player, and no one really says, I hate Rekrap. Like, no one's gonna hunt Rekrap down. He does have a low heart count, but I reckon with SB, bro, SB getting 47 maces, bro. Like, SB was probably gonna pull out some bloody infinite heart glitch, so you could never really tell what he's doing, bro. So I'm actually going to put Rekrap in A tier. He has a lot of potential. Feel like from what we've seen so far, as long as you're competent at PvP and have strong connections but aren't too attached to them to the point where you share enemies, then you should be pretty good. And I think Rekrap is a great example of that. Granted, he's probably the lowest on the A tier we have yet, but I feel like if he had a couple more hearts, he could secure his A tier spot confidently. Roshambogames hasn't logged on yet. On to the bench you go, Roshambogames. Now, speaking of SB737, we've got him next. He's probably got the most knowledge of Minecraft out of anyone on Lifesteal, and by quite a far margin, I would say. Granted, his PvP skills aren't the best, but he has been trying to lock in with PvP. But the thing with SB is that he always has like a way to get out of stuff. Like if you've watched Friend or Foe, you'd know like SB can just, he always has a plan B. He could probably go to a plan Z if he really wanted to. Like SB is definitely the type of person to have mapped out and predicted the entirety of Season 7. Like this guy has planned the final day of Season 7 and we're only a week in, like you know what I mean. So I'm going to put him in A tier. He's sort of like Rekrap. It's quite hard to be enemies with SB. But not to the extent of Rekrap. Like, I feel like SB definitely would have a lot more enemies than Rekrap. So next up, we've got Spepticle. I mean, there's not really a lot to say. Judging by Spepticle's upload schedule, I doubt we're going to see his POV anytime soon. I would say C tier, but I feel like D tier. Unlike Reddoons, who is on the Sock Sync team, who's decent at PvP, Spepticle just unfortunately isn't. I mean, 9 hearts isn't exactly terrible, but it's nothing to brag about. So I think I'm going to keep him in D tier. Next up, we've got Spoke, and unlike the other unstable SMP members, he's actually showed up. Now, he's obviously not going to be too involved with Lifesteal, considering that he's on unstable SMP, but he's had the courtesy to show up, and that's at least something. He's not going to be doing any wormhole level stuff, so I'd honestly put him in B tier. I feel like he's just going to remain pretty neutral. He's got a strong team. If he ever wants to properly get involved with Lifesteal, I'm sure they would hook him up with some stuff. Now, next up, we've got Squiddo. She isn't in an actively bad situation, but she isn't in a great one. I mean, she's got 10 hearts, which is something. She's got a lot of allies, but she really isn't that good at PvP. And if I had to split the server into 2 halves based on activity, I would put her in the bottom half. But I'm going to put her in C tier for now. Next up, we've got TheTerrain. I don't see him log on a lot, and he's also in the team that doesn't really take Lifesteal too seriously. So I guess I'll put him in C tier. There are pros to not being very active, like he doesn't have any enemies, which is good. Next up is Vitality. Well, actually, maybe not, because he hasn't logged on yet, so he's going to the back of the tier list. And the same can be said for Vortex. No offense to Vortex, but why is he still a member of Lifesteal? He logged on Season 6 once, I don't remember him in Season 5, like, bro. And we've gone 3 for 3. Wemmbu, similar to FlameFrags, hasn't logged on either because of Unstable. I feel like Wemmbu sort of neglecting Lifesteal sits better with me than FlameFrags doing it. But, I mean, nonetheless, he hasn't logged on, so yeah, we'll move on. Next up is Woogie. He's got some alliances. He can hold his own in fights. I'd say he's, like, one of the players that can, like, last long in fights. Like, I'd say most of the time he probably loses fights to running out of resources as opposed to, you know, getting quick dropped. I feel like a lot of the Divine Intervention team, which is the team that that band the end, essentially. I feel like a lot of them could go D tier, but they have something saving them, whether that be strong connections, you know, high heart counts, you know, whatever. Now, next up, we've got Jaren. He's teamed with 4C. I don't imagine he's going to play a lot. I feel like if he had a lower heart count, I'd probably put him in D tier, but I think C tier. Like, he's not in an actively bad situation, but he's not in a great one either. Now, we save these members for last, the new additions. Now, next up, we've got DTownCat. You know, I got my head bitten off for not using their full legal name, so I'm just going to have to call them that, apparently. Of course, that's a joke, don't worry. I'm not sure their skill on PvP, they haven't gotten involved with much. But yeah, from what I've seen so far, they've made an alright addition to Lifesteal. Now for the next new member, we've got JoJo Solos. Which actually, I've said this before in community posts and stuff, I predicted her to join Lifesteal in a video, but by the time I was like halfway in the video, she already got announced to be in Lifesteal, so I sort of had to cut her out the video because it wouldn't make sense. She is in the Divine Intervention team, which isn't great, but she's got some decent alliances, so I'll whack her in C tier. I know there's a lot of C tiers, guys, but hopefully, you know, you can see why I put them there. Like, I'm not sure what JoJo's PvP skill is, so I think C tier, I feel like that's pretty fair. You know, feel free to correct me in the comments. Now, we've got YungWill, and I'm gonna put him in S tier. He, like, I've seen, like, I saw a comment earlier, YungWill has been moving like prime King Von, bro. He's been jumping anyone and anything, bro. Kidding ClownPierce, he's really displayed himself as a force to be reckoned with. Strong alliances, teamed with Peentar. He's got good communication with his team. And plus, we can't have ManePear all alone in S tier, like, come on. Alright guys, here's the finished tier list. Make sure to let me know down below what I got wrong, what I got right, and is this better than my last tier list? Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.